Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. So happy to have back the Black Belt Barrister is here. We are actually going to be talking later today live using his knowledge of the UK trial to talk about could the UK verdict have more of a chance of getting appealed or whatever they do over there. Stay tuned. You're not going to miss our live show today at 12 Eastern Standard Time. But I pushed that topic over because I wanted to talk about this with you first, sir. Did you see this? Elon Musk is stepping down as CEO of Twitter. As soon as he finds someone foolish enough to take the job, after that, I will just run the software and servers teams. Now, for those of you who don't know, he put a poll up, and I'm curious if you really expected the results or if this was sort of a way like, hey, I kind of want to get out anyway, so if they vote me out, great, I can say they did it. Either way, he lost the poll, 57.5%. I don't know if the poll was fair. He did it at a time of turmoil where he did some really stupid things, took them back, and then a lot of people got really upset and then sort of voted at, I think, emotionally. At the same time, I think, should Elon Musk ever have really taken over and been the CEO of Twitter? Probably not, because his other businesses are starting to get affected. Tesla's now freezing their hiring, laying off employers next quarter, and the stock market, the people investing in Tesla are getting worried. What is your focus, Elon? What are you doing? Why are you wasting all this time over on Twitter? So that's the latest news. So he's made the call. He's going to find somebody. I like this little joke here. Tom from MySpace popped up out of nowhere and seemed to make himself available. I don't believe that for a second. Tom's got so much money and goes and does the most amazing photography around the world. I don't think anybody's going to take this job. Let's go right to you, sir. This is a hard job to have. You think you can come in and have these big, quick moves, and I think he's made some good moves, but he's also stumbled a lot as well. And I think he's right. It's going to be full. Who really wants to deal with all the toxicity? You can't please everybody. You got to make some tough decisions. And then you're going to lose decisions. You're going to be people are going to come at you all the time. What are your thoughts on Elon stepping down from Twitter?
Well, I think that's exactly the problem. There's so much negativity. There's so much to deal with. It's a very different role than anything else that he was doing. Apart from running a business, running a business in one sense can be transferred to another business, but this was a very different business to all of the other businesses, and quite literally from making cars to sending rockets into space to running one of the world's largest social media platforms. So very, very different role. A lot of different things to deal with. A lot of difficult things to deal with. And so I'm not really surprised by the decision, because as in the result of the poll, because I think so much of what is done has created so much turmoil. And I think there's a lot of people have felt that it's been really rocky. So I'm not really surprised by that. And you're right. Maybe he wanted out anyway. The next thing came to my mind as well. Actually, it was popped up from one of the other tweets, which was, you should restrict it to Twitter Blue members only to vote on the poll. I thought that was interesting, because actually it goes back to the other thought is, what if, a good third of these are just fake accounts or bot or, spam accounts? Then this is a meaningless poll. So it's a bit of a strange way to do it. But as you say, maybe you want it out anyway. But coming to the markets and touching on those as well, I think, again, you're right, with Tesla and everything else. The uncertainty is there. I think companies and markets don't like uncertainty. Now, many, many years ago, I was training as a stockbroker, and I've been in business all my life. So I understand markets a little bit. We hold stocks. We hold some Tesla. And I, as a stockholder, as a business person, and just generally understanding the markets, markets don't like the uncertainty of what's going on and a lack of focus. So I think there's a big thing here as to where is his focus? Is he taking up, or it seems like he's taking up almost all of his time on Twitter, at least ostensibly that's how it comes across. So for markets and companies and shareholders, from my view, the uncertainty is very real. So it's, well, what's going on here? We need you at the helm, sort of thing. So I think what we'll probably see is, over the next few weeks or however long it takes to build some momentum, I think those markets will stabilize a little bit. I think Tesla will bounce back reasonably quickly once there's a consolidation and a real focus coming back. So that's what I think, really. I think it was a bit of a wild ride is probably the best way of putting it, for him to be head of Twitter.
No, 100%. And it's with SpaceX, you got to remember, he also, right, is running Indeed. SpaceX. And it's like, I see SpaceX and Tesla working together. Like, I'm sure people in Tesla like, oh, cool, he's working on rocket parts. Maybe some of that'll come over to my car. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like those two businesses somehow worked as like, okay, I understand why he's doing those two things. But Twitter, man, that's a time suck. Anybody who goes on Twitter knows, one, how much time you waste on it, how much fighting you do, how angry it makes you, like how frustrated it makes you, how divided it's making people. Like it always just feels like, what are you doing? This is not a good use of your time. And you always hype it as sort of like, I'm doing this for the good of humanity, was what he was always saying. And I'm just like, come on, dude. No, you're not. You're going to try to make profit off this, or you're going to use it as a way to divide the people. So you as the rich billionaire can, get some benefit from it. It's always what I thought. And I don't even really have a problem with Elon Musk. Of all the billionaires, I don't think he's the worst one. But at the same time, like, I don't trust him. I don't trust any billionaires, really. And so it is interesting that he was dividing so much of his time to Twitter. And I wonder how long this was really the plan. Like, the fact that he thought he could be running Tesla, SpaceX, and then like, I'm also just going to go become the CEO of Twitter as well. Like, I'm trying to even think, like, are there really famous CEOs that are the CEOs of multiple massively different companies like that? Can you think of one? Because I'm trying to think of somebody.
No, not really. I mean, even with companies like Amazon, like if you think, in one sense, starting off as a book specialist store online, which then obviously branched out into practically everything, and then moved into web services and all this, but they all support each other. So all of those businesses work together. And it's a bit like you said about Tesla and SpaceX, and they do work together. They are mechanical engineering type companies. And so there's a synergy between them. The advances in one will have natural advances in the other, and they do work together. This is as far different as it could really possibly be. And the only synergy is the use of computer technology, but it's very different. I mean, a social media platform to everything else.
I was going to say that, you know what it is? It's customers, right? He's going to get a lot of customer data when owning Twitter. And I think that was part of probably appeal of what you could do, because, Google, Apple, Facebook, they have our data. They're mining our data. They're making so much money from our what we're doing by what we're texting, that they do track and they use to sell to advertisers and other things. And I'm sure that could have helped him in getting more customer profiles and having immediately all that data to put through whatever he's doing over in other systems. And maybe that's what his whole goal was. I could buy Twitter. I'm gonna have some fun. I'll troll everybody, but I'll get all your data. I'll be able to put all that into my next plan for my neurochips. I don't know. There's a part of me that still thinks he's a Bond villain, and I think we're all going to regret it later, but that's just my speculation. But either way, moving forward, do you think that, as we wrap up this bit here, do you think him stepping down, and still owning the company, he'll probably get that way he can at least have someone else run it, but he could chime in from time to time. That's probably the best way for him to still do it. But from him stepping down, do you think this will someone be foolish enough to step up? And do you think this will, you did sort of say it'll help Tesla. So then, rather than say will it help his others, because I think it will help his others, do you think him stepping down will help Twitter? I guess is what I want to have our last bit on here. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it will, because I think what he'll do is we'll get a seasoned CEO to come and run it, but he will still chime in with his vision and direction. And you can't, whatever else you say, love him or hate him, you can't take away the vision there. He's definitely got this vision. So I think he will bring that vision, which I think is what he really should have done to begin with, and have a seasoned CEO in this sphere. Not that he's not, he's obviously a businessman, but a seasoned CEO in this sphere to come and run this. That's what I think. And I think it will be good for the platform overall. I think the shakeup has probably done some good, and you'll see some of that stick around. And I think it will stabilize relatively quickly.
I mean, I liked some of his ideas. His ideas were good. I don't think he activated them as well, because he's, I think, got too much going on and doesn't know the sphere, like you said. So I think you're right. If he can put someone in charge with who's going to use his vision, but also maybe challenge a bit to have him actually, not stop third-party links out of nowhere, which was such a dumb move that he did that I think really affected this poll. You can't take away Facebook links on Twitter. That's ridiculous. And so it's all about the freedom of speeches. You can't do it. If YouTube stopped letting us go off their platform to promote other things, it would be anarchy. So luckily he took that away. But there's a lot of ideas he had. I never really understood the verified blue thing, why he wants everybody to have it. It takes away the whole point of what I think was valuable, which was, as a user and someone who has it, like, I can separate the real professional brands and the people with a lot of followers who, no offense, that's just people who work to get to a point where they are more notable. To me, that is something that I think should have been separated. It actually does help sort of cut through the crap, because there's so much spam and so much crap on Twitter. And I'm finding myself, it's interesting because for those of you who don't know that you have a verified, in my notifications, I have a regular tab and I have a verified tab. And there's sometimes I want to see, did The Rock like my tweet about Captain Corey? Oh, he did. I can see it immediately in my verified tab, and it sort of allows me to set my settings so I can sort of prefer, do it. And honestly, everybody should have that alert. That way you can know when you're verified, people are tagging you in things. And I just think there is a difference. So this idea of that was always something that bothered me, and I think it upset brands. I think he's losing money. I think a lot of brands have been stepping out because they're like, well, anybody can be Pepsi now, so why would we want to do this? We can't even tell our fans which ones are us. There's a lot of stuff that I think in theory made sense, but it didn't in practicality. So I hope he does put someone in place that can help him take those ideas and actually make them work so the user experience is more effective and better, or at least makes it more transparent, which is something else I think he has done well on the platform, right? Of going back and showing the things that they did terribly, which I think is his best move, which they could also explain. All right, well, let's make the check process more transparent. You need 3 articles with your name in it that you submit to us or whatever. Make that process a little easier so more people can get in there, but not everybody. You just buy it. That was always my 2 cents. So anyway, final thoughts from you on the state of Twitter, Tesla, and things. Did I give you the final word?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think you've touched on loads of points there, and with the blue check, I think there's a lot of other ways it could have been done. So, for example, if you've got a verified YouTube channel, that could be an automatic verification here, because if one platform, they don't do it lightly. So, if one platform's done it, it could make it much easier. Whereas a lot of people find that unfair. Banning the links, I think the way that was implemented was, it backfired. Other platforms, I think, do the same thing, but they do it much more subtly. So if you post a YouTube video on Facebook, it doesn't really get any traction. They want their own videos on there, but it doesn't stop you posting the link. It just doesn't really work. So cross-platform promotion has always been difficult, but banning it's going to put a lot of people off. So I think a lot of those things will be refined. I think someone coming in to help refine those will work, and with him having the vision along the way, I think it will work. But the important thing is bringing his focus back to Tesla, SpaceX, and pun intended, get those back off the ground.
I like it. That's like a dad joke right there. It's true. And you're right. They usually just shadow ban the links when you're on Twitter. I've noticed that before. If I'm on Twitter and I share a YouTube link, it just doesn't get as widely shared as a Twitter video would. And okay, fine. The algorithm wants to promote more of their own stuff. Fine. But don't ban it. Don't make people suspended because they shared the links. That's where he, I think, went too far with it. But again, that's the problem. But then he wants transparency, but then he's going to shadow ban those links. Then at least tell us you're going to get more traction if you share a YouTube link or a video, Twitter link instead of YouTube. A lot of things he could do that I hope he does and fixes this. So what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. Will Elon leaving? Not leaving. He's not leaving. He's not selling the company. He's just stepping down as CEO. Do you think that will help or hurt Twitter in the future? I want to hear your thoughts down below. Also, make sure you go support Daniel over on Black Belt Barrister. You can find I have his Twitter here, and then also his YouTube link. Bam! Black Belt Barrister on YouTube. He does amazing commentary, and he'll be back today on this channel at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time to talk about what I really want to talk to him about, which is, will this Amber settlement, his judgment settlement, not the case settlement that everyone's trying to spin this. She settled her judgment. The judgment still stands. Johnny has won, and Johnny is being paid. This should, you'd think, help sort of go, well, wait a second, UK, why are you, what's going on here? Why did she accept all this? We'll be asking his thoughts about that later today, so don't miss it, and don't miss him. Go subscribe over on Black Belt Barrister. How do you do that? Hit the bell. Hit the button and the bell. Hit the like. Leave a comment. And stay tuned for all of our content. Appreciate you, Daniel. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you guys this afternoon.